drag that up from?
In 5, 4, 3,
2,
1.
Let's go.
Pastor P wore a suit today.
I told you that I was gonna put on the suit.
Look at me.
I told you I was gonna
Look
put
at
one
me.
on. Every once in a while, I do wear a suit, man.
Pastor P been acting. He been acting real churchy. He been acting real churchy lately.
Hey, man. Hey.
Because it went from not wearing the suit.
Hey,
to
it was
wearing
all
the suit.
49ers gear, man. And
Yeah,
now
he
today,
wearing the suit. He told me he's gonna wear a suit.
I told
so
you,
I
man.
text Pastor P today, and I said, "Are you really gonna wear a suit?" But he didn't text back. And look at me.
Hey, my
Look
word
at
is my
me.
bond, man. I told you last week I was gonna wear a suit, and guess what?
You wore
I'm in a suit.
Well, you look good, man.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank y'all for tuning in. Remember, tell a friend to tell a friend. Like, share, and subscribe. All right, we
What's
back
up with
at
you,
it,
man. What's up?
Well, you looking good.
Hey,
you
man,
know?
I'm trying my best, bro. I'm trying my best.
Look, so me and you, Ryan, we're in church on Sunday.
Uh-huh.
And okay, his name is slipping right now, but he's right there by the information desk, the older guy.
Right. Okay, I know you're talking
Okay,
about. Yeah.
all right. So, Resurrection Sunday is coming up,
It's coming up.
but Resurrection Sunday may already been passed when you see this podcast. But Resurrection Sunday is coming up for this time frame right now. And so I asked you, Ryan. I said, "Hey, what we gonna do? We gonna dress down or we going suit?" And he said, "We gotta ask the OG." And I told you, I said, "You know what? He gonna say suit."
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "We still gotta ask." He tell us what to go every Sunday. I said, "He gonna say suit for Easter."
Yeah.
He's traditional. I know he
Yeah.
gonna say suit. So we asked. Guess what he said?
He said dress down?
Nah, he
Okay,
said go
he said
suit.
Okay, I was about to say, I thought you were going to surprise me.
Nah, he said go suit.
Hey.
So we was going. I was gonna dress down because
Mhm.
I know everybody's gonna dress up on
Right.
Easter.
But it is first Sunday, though.
Oh, it is first
It is
Sunday.
first Sunday.
Yeah, I'm forgetting. See, I was
See,
gonna
now
have to
he's
dress
not
up.
dressing down. Now he
I'm
gonna
not
put on the
dressing.
suit.
Yeah, I'm going suit. I'm going suit, bow tie.
So not
Lord
just
willing.
Easter, but it's on first Sunday.
Yeah, it's on
The whole
first Sunday.
thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So we got Resurrection Sunday on first Sunday.
Right.
All right. So it's some communion gonna be had.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going suit.
Right.
I'm going suit.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm being suit too. I'm gonna be in a suit too, man.
But yeah. So I was like, okay, I had this dress down outfit,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I'm just gonna rock that on Easter.
Right,
Because
right.
everybody goes suit on Easter.
Yeah, usually, yeah.
Usually everybody goes suit. But I was like, I'm gonna change it up this year. Cause I've been going suit. I
Hey.
go suit a lot on
Hey.
Sundays.
Hey, this past year, I think I've worn a suit more time this past year than I have since
Ever?
I've been
Since
at
I
Antioch.
known you.
Yeah, since I've been at Antioch.
That's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah, so I like going suit on Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I used to like going suit on Sunday, and then when I found it, because I ain't have a choice but to go suit on Sunday.
Yeah.
And then we got over, we got out to this area, man, and even before we got to Antioch, I stepped it down from a full suit to shirt and tie, and then I once I got to Antioch, I was full suit for a minute, and then they changed the dress code on us and said we didn't have to wear suits
I have to
every
wear
Sunday.
suits every Sunday.
And as soon as they said that, they set me free, and it was real hard to get me back in the suit after that.
Well, it was dress up for me.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up.
Yeah, for sure.
Growing up, it was dressed up. You wasn't going to church.
Looking any kind of way.
You wasn't going to church looking any kind of way. You was finna dress up.
Right.
So, suit was a thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But me and my brothers, we like to get dressed up in a nice suit.
Right.
I still on Saturdays, like, what am I gonna wear to church? I might need to go pick something up.
Right.
I might need to go pick something up.
Right.
But if I don't have to go suit, then sometimes I do like to go casual.
Right.
But so Easter.
Man, I went through the closet and got to cleaning out stuff, and didn't
That's
realize
nice.
how much dress clothes I had.
Pastor P is dressed nice. We are up here on a weekday
On a
in the
weekday.
afternoon. He is
Yeah,
dressed so
man.
nice.
Man, I'm dressed up.
Come on, man.
I
Come
told
on,
you I
man.
was gonna do
I'll
it.
give it up
Hey,
for Pastor P.
Hey, man. We got to show our stuff every once in a while. Man.
Do you think people dress? Do you think people dress too casual for church now?
Yeah, sometimes, man. Sometimes.
Because, okay, so I told my son, I said, I'm going to let you pick what you want to wear for Resurrection Sunday. I put the ball in his court.
How did that go?
You know, he's 17, so you can't put the ball in his court. So here's two things that I pulled from that. Number one, dressing up and getting fly or fresh or whatever they call it now is different.
Yes.
For his generation.
Yes.
Than it is for our generation.
Completely.
Now, when I was younger, if you wanted to get dressed up, if you want to put that on, you would wear a suit.
Yeah.
You would wear a suit because we were mimicking the generation before us.
Right.
Now, that doesn't really happen. I don't see that generation mimicking.
They don't dress up till prom time, man.
Yeah, I don't see that. So he picked out a shirt. It was a nice shirt. It was a nice shirt. And he said, I'm going to rock this with some jeans. And I was like, that's going to be so I let him pick it out. So he going to rock it with some jeans. It looked nice.
I'm going to tell you now, man, that if I leave it up to mine, he going to show up in a hoodie and some sweatpants
to dress up. So maybe it's a whole different thing. Maybe it's a different thing, like what they feel like is appropriate and dressed up.
It's about comfort.
It's about comfort because so I was online. I was scrolling through and a lot of people in Gen Z, they were getting ready to go to church. And I was like, man, that church attire is different. Not to say that it's wrong, it's just different.
Right.
It's just different from what I would say putting that on is.
Right.
You know, so for me, even when I was in my 20s and my late teens, for me, putting that on was getting a fresh suit, dress shirt, a tie, having some fresh shoes, kind of tailor-made to fit. And I'm going in there, right?
You got to have a nice Stacy's, man.
Yes, Stacey Adams, something like that.
But popping.
But now it may be some jeans with a, maybe a streetwear t-shirt that's representing God though.
You're right.
And that's putting it on. So but going back to what you said, I think there's this line where it's kind of too casual.
Right.
It's too casual.
Right.
So here's how I look at it, right? We're coming in this place to worship, and I think we should represent who we have become in Christ from the inside to the out. Right. So, and that's not to say, we got to dig into this, right? That's not to say that you got to wear a suit.
Right.
Every time.
Yeah.
But it should be some thought put into whatever you're wearing.
Right.
When you come in here.
Yeah, you have to, you got to think about the environment.
Yeah.
Think about where you're going and think about why you're going. Think about what's happening. You got to be able to read the room. I wouldn't suggest coming to church looking like you're going to a picnic. It's because
it is church.
Yeah. And you look at us. Hey, if I'm going to a picnic, I'm not putting on no suit. I'm not. I'm gonna dress for the picnic. If I'm going to to the football game, I'm gonna dress different. I ain't putting on a suit to go to the football game. I ain't putting on a shirt and tie to go to the football game.
They used to back in the day though.
They did.
Like our parents, they put on a suit tie to go to the football game.
They sitting in the sun in a full suit.
3-piece
too.
3-piece. That's how they would go. Baseball game and all.
Yeah, but no, we're not doing that. But it's one thing for those who don't have and for those who don't know.
Oh, okay, yeah. Let's because some people.
Different ball game.
So it's definitely a different ball game for those because some people don't have it. Right. And then some people don't know.
Right.
So I was talking to Kiana at the Bible study. I was talking to her and Reese at the Bible study one day. We were talking about going to the thrift store, and I always go to the thrift store.
Right.
And she brought something to my attention. She was like, "You going to the thrift store and I'm getting stuff because that's just how I always done it." But really it was done out of a necessity when I grew up.
Right.
But she made me realize that, it's not a necessity now.
Right.
You're doing it out of habit, right? So I might grab something that somebody might really need. Mm-hmm. She just brought that to my attention.
Right.
And I was thinking about, so a lot of people go thrifting now, but I can recall going thrifting out of the need.
Right. Yeah.
Out of the need. So thrift stores, they used to call them secondhand stores.
Yeah.
So somebody else had this, and they would take
resale secondhand.
Resale secondhand, and you could get something nice that you probably couldn't afford.
Yeah.
And you could recycle said clothes, right? And you could wear them. And I think thrifting is a whole different thing now. So people just going in there. Yeah. But she kind of reminded me of like, okay, you might be taking that away from somebody who really need that suit that's going to go to church. So you got the people who really don't have it.
Right.
Like, this is what I got.
Right. I'm gonna wear what I got.
And I'm gonna wear what I got. So the concept of come as you are is in the Bible, but that's not scripture.
Right.
So there's a lot of people think that that's scripture, right? But the concept is biblically, that concept is Jesus is saying, come to me as you are,
right?
But I love you enough not to leave you that way.
That's exactly it.
And he's going to change you. But going back to the clothes, right? Because when you come into Christ, you are renewed, and this is a new life that you're coming into.
Yeah.
Going back to the clothes, so God works on the inside and on the out.
Right.
So the inside will reflect on the outside.
Right.
So you may be looking right now and say, Pastor Brandon, you don't have no room to talk. Pastor V is sitting up here looking so good in his suit, and you got on the Rangers jersey. But we're taping today.
Right.
So, and I did text Pastor V, and I knew he was going to wear that suit. But he didn't respond back.
I said it, man. I said it.
He didn't respond back. So with that being said, right, I don't take it lightly how I come into the house of God.
Yeah.
I don't. So you said you got the ones that can't and the ones that don't know.
Right.
And I think we kind of need to park there for a minute, because there's a lot of people who are coming into house of worship that just don't know. Right. We assume that everybody, has been churched. Yeah.
And the truth of the matter is that especially nowadays, man, you got more and more people who didn't grow up in the church, or whose parents, didn't grow up in the church. So if I didn't grow up in the church, how am I going to be expected to know how to behave, how to dress, what to do in church?
Yeah.
So hey, look, y'all told me that that it was some good news, that that hey, it was some miracles happening, some good news, and that I needed to come. So guess what I did? I came, and and not knowing that, hey, look, it's a thing that you're supposed to dress up. Well, how am I supposed to know that?
And I don't want to be. And truth be told, when I walk in the door, I don't want to be I don't want to be the one that everyone gawks at.
Right.
Because I don't know.
Right.
So before we start walking down that road, let's just talk about in between churches.
Yeah.
Now, I grew up Kojic. Mm-hmm. And my mom was Kojic, my dad is Baptist.
Right.
So Kojic, you're not going to walk into a church with no pants on. Mm-hmm. That's just not going to happen.
Right.
That's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
For women.
Right.
Now, this is early 90s, remember. Mm-hmm. So there was a thing I always, to this day, ask, what kind of church are we going to?
Right.
Because I want to be dressed appropriately. Right. Because I don't want to offend anyone's beliefs.
Yeah.
So that's like intertwined in churches.
Yes.
So there's kind of like a what you call it, a unspoken rule,
unwritten unspoken rule.
Unspoken rule. So like if I'm going to a quote unquote holiness church, I'm going to dress a different way than I'm dressing if I'm coming to my church.
Right.
Because I know the dynamics, I know the structure here.
Yes.
And it's not saying that my church or the other church will say, no, you can't come in.
Right.
It's just something I know. So if I know that going in between churches, right, somebody on the outside looking in may have no idea of that.
Right.
So they're just walking in and they say, "Hey, I'm coming as I am."
Right.
And I think it's up to us to teach.
Right.
But what about those that want to be taught?
We accept them as they come in, and then we help them to understand, what it is. We receive them in because our main goal, man, is to get them into the kingdom.
Yeah.
That's the main goal. And too many times, man, we push people out of the kingdom based on our rules and based on all of our all of our hangups. If
things that are not heaven or hell.
Right. It's not a heaven or hell issue.
Yeah.
And why would we drive somebody out of the church if they showed up?
They're seeking.
They're looking for something.
Yeah.
We forget that the church ain't made for us.
Yeah.
Because Jesus said in the Word, man, that hey, the person who's well don't need a doctor.
They don't need a physician. That's what the Word says.
Those people who are coming in who are sick in their sins, the ones who are troubled and whatnot, as they come in, if we don't receive them in the condition, I ain't never been to a hospital, in an emergency, sick or whatever, and they tell me I gotta go home, take a shower, and change clothes.
No, they just start treating you.
If I come in, bloody, dirty, muddy, whatever it is, they're gonna receive me as I am, and then they will start treatment. And even after that, because they gonna cut them raggedy clothes off of you, them bloody clothes off of you, and then they're gonna give you something else to put on when you get ready to leave.
That's the thing, right? So we need to understand that you come as you are, right? But it is our job as believers to guide you along that way,
right?
And not necessarily, not literally give you new clothes, but if need be. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Yeah. But sometimes literally you got to give new clothes.
Right.
But figuratively, you have to give them a new garment to put on. Like, this is the new garment that I'm issuing you.
Right.
And I think that we have to be cognizant of the person that's coming through the door, and they have to be receptive of what God is trying to do through us. Right. So, because you were saying it. When you go, the emergency room, they're not going to reject you. But in order to help you, they're going to have to remove all the old.
Right.
Old clothes. They're going to cut your clothes.
Off.
I remember one time I got into a car accident and I had to go to the emergency room, and they were like, "We finna cut this shirt."
Yeah. Cut it right on off of you.
And I love that shirt.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite shirts.
Sorry about your luck. You got to go.
It's got to go.
It's got to go.
It's got to go. And they put me on something new. And that was a part of me getting well.
Right. That's it.
So I think that there's a disconnect of not understanding that, people are just not in the know. And there's a disconnect of people just not having it.
Right.
And there's also a disconnect of the believers holding on to tradition.
Right.
Instead of theology.
Right. Well, and a lot of times, we expect people to be like us.
Already.
Yeah. We expect them to, we expect unsaved people to act saved.
Yeah. And I think that's putting a lot of pressure on somebody that's coming through the door.
They can't do it.
But I will say this. Do you, whoever it may be, you
having to think too hard to fix these words, man.
Because I don't want it to come across the wrong way. Because I'm saying, but you have to think about what you put on when you come into the house of God.
Yeah.
Even if I don't. So again, I'm going back to myself. Right. So my mom shopped at thrift stores because that was her thing. She had 3 boys. That helped. Right. So she made sure we had some good stuff to wear to school, some good stuff to wear to church. Mm-hmm. She didn't want us going into church looking any kind of way.
Right.
As a matter of fact, she didn't want us to go to school looking any kind of way, but she'd rather us go to school looking any kind of way than go to church.
Looking like that.
But you wasn't going to church looking like that. Right. It was a point. And I think that in itself put something in me to understand the reverence she had for the house of God.
Yeah.
Because remember in the Bible, it says, take your shoes off. Mm-hmm. This ground is holy. Right? And just trivia. You can go find it. It's in there.
This is holy ground.
This is holy ground.
Yeah.
This is holy ground. And to think about that, to be like, take your shoes off.
Right.
Take them off. Mm-hmm. Know where them been.
That's it.
Put your bare feet, because this is holy ground.
That's it.
And I think understanding that when you come into the house of God, so I don't expect you to be here.
Right.
But, and if you listen to this, like while you're working out something, I raise my hand up. So I don't expect you to be here already.
Right.
But I do expect you to know that there is a bar.
Right.
The bar, that it's not set high, but God expects greatness. Mm-hmm. He doesn't call you to fit in. He calls you to stand out.
Right. And sometimes we confuse what's fashionable with what's appropriate.
Yeah, we do.
And I think a lot of times people get that confused. That's fashionable, and and you can wear that outside all day long, and you can wear that to work, and you can wear that to the game, you can wear that to the club, but when it comes to walking into the church, some things just not appropriate. You shouldn't come into the club, come into the church looking like you going to the strip club. You shouldn't do that.
You should.
And the thing,
I'm just saying. We just saying.
And here's the thing about it: if you are said person from the strip club and you come to the church, not knowing, coming in, because you're looking to looking to have a desire, to see, hear, to learn, to be saved or whatever. What you have is appropriate. Now we'll hang you a blanket or something, to put over your knees to help you cover up or whatnot. But the thing about it, the issue that I have is usually not with unsaved people, coming in the way that they are, but when you save and coming into church, still, looking the same, and that's a lot of times, where the issue comes with me. I'm like, now look,
you've been in the church,
you've been here long enough
to know.
Yeah, so
they don't like when you put that blanket over.
No, man, people hate that blanket.
They don't like when you put that blanket over.
Yeah,
that blanket.
Yeah, so, but hey, at the end of the day, you gotta cover. You gotta cover up.
You
gotta cover up.
And I think that the willingness to submit and be humble, for God. It's not for us.
Right.
It's for God, right? So, Lord, this is how I'm presenting myself to you.
Right.
And I think that humility goes a long way.
Yeah.
Right. Humbleness and meekness.
And a lot of people, think that you're trying to tell them what to do, or you're infringing on their freedoms, by telling them that they ought to not. They are not dressed a certain way. They are not, be hanging all out and things of that nature. But, but at the end of the day, if we go to the scripture, what did the scripture say? Is that, hey, look, if I exercise my freedoms and it causes somebody else to stumble, then that's sin to me.
That's sin. Like, because right now the dudes got the t-shirts, and they like half shirts. Mm-hmm. They like, right. So I bought a t-shirt. I was like, man, this is a nice t-shirt, but I didn't know it was that new modern box fit.
Right.
And when I got it, it was like belly was out. I was like, oh no, this ain't gonna work for me. I can't work. I can't work with this. But that's a fashion thing now.
Right.
So you have some of the young men come in and kind of like, I'm like, but your belly is out.
Right.
I'm just saying.
This ain't the place for that.
This ain't the place for that. So because I think a lot of times is focused in on the young men and young women.
Yeah, no,
but
it's everybody.
But it's everybody.
Yeah.
So and I said focus on young men and young women because most of the time those are the new believers.
Right.
But it's everybody. To Pastor P's point, it's old believers that come in here. You like, hey,
look here.
Hey,
bro, you need to loosen that up.
2, 3. He said loosen it up.
I'm trying to be nice, man. I'm trying to be nice.
And this ain't a new thing, because I remember going to church. back in the day, and the pulpit used to be, it seemed like the pulpit used to be higher than what it
it used to be elevated.
It used to be elevated because the pastors would sit in there and the seats would come up a lot further than like what it is now in the standard church.
Yeah.
I know so this is about roughly about 10 feet.
The pulpit wasn't nearly as big.
Wasn't nearly as big.
Now it's a stage.
Yeah.
You know, back then, because you had the choir stands, you had the pulpit.
Yeah.
You know, and it was different. Now it's all just one big stage and everybody's on it.
But back then it was kind of condensed. And I remember going to church sometime and I'd be like, yo, man, his suit is too tight.
It's too tight. It's too tight. That old deacon sitting on the front row.
I knew he was gonna say,
hey, man.
Anybody who grew up in the 80s, 90s, they do that one deacon. It was gonna be like, oh man, bro.
Growing up as kids, you know, kids talk, man.
He like, bro, man.
The grown-ups might not say nothing about it, but the kids know.
Deacon so wow.
Hey, kids notice and they talk. You know, so you know, it's not just the young people. You know, it's everybody.
It's everybody.
You know, and you know, we just have to be aware. You know, and you know, we have to really, you know, submit to, you know, first of all, you submit to the authority of the church.
Amen.
And then you submit to God's word, you know, and as you learn better, as you know better, then you do better. Yeah,
and that's as you learn, you're gonna learn that the outward is more or less a reflection of the inward, and also really knowing that you are representative of Christ at all times. It's not about you. It's not. So I was gonna try to word that different, but it's not about you. I think a lot of times we still think it's about me. This is what I want. This is what. But what does Christ want from you? I think, and there's times when I definitely have to catch myself, even with apparel. Yeah. You know, like, what is this? What am I wearing? Right. And I'm not perfect.
And some things, you know, just by name brand. You know, what the name is associated with. And that brand is associated with. You know, you have to be careful.
You got to be careful
because you're representing that. You know, in the church.
In the church.
You know, and it's certain things that, you know, that have a certain connotation. And if you wear that, you know, that means you're representing whatever that connotation is.
And you could do that innocently.
Right.
Because I've worn some stuff and I'm like, and then once I did some research and then also it's probably some stuff I'm going to wear that I don't know, and then I'm going to find out later.
Right.
I don't think that's the juxt of this conversation. I think the conversation is to be cognizant of where you are and whose you are.
Right.
It's because we're gonna come to, so like Pastor B's wearing a suit, but it's gonna come to a point where, you know, we are the older generation, and then the next generation is gonna take up the reins, and you know, they may have a different thing, but it's they may have a different point of view, but it's our job to teach.
Yeah. And I can tell you now, man, is that, you know, the way my son and his friends dress drives me nuts.
It do, cause I tell my son, I'm like, yo, you know, just one day a week,
bro.
It's just hoodies.
They got on a hoodie and it's 105 degrees.
They love them hoodies, man.
And they sporting the hoodie, and I'm like, bro, you gotta be hot.
Yeah,
you gotta be.
It's a comfort thing.
Yeah, but they wear. But then you hop in my truck and you smell like you've been outside for 20 days, and I'm like, bro, you sweating to death.
Hey, you know what, man? I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah,
you smell like outside.
Yeah,
until I got married.
It's a thing.
I went running one day. This was young in my marriage. I didn't know that was a thing.
It's a thing, bro.
My wife was like, "You smell like outside." I was like, "What outside smell like?" I never heard that growing up my whole life.
Outside smell bad.
And this is a thing. People around me talk about that. I'm like,
people can tell that you've been outside.
Like
you smell like heat and the environment, and all the funk that come with it.
He said heat and environment. I hadn't heard that though.
Yeah, man.
My people didn't use that.
Man.
Like I know when I would come in from my mom would like go get in that tub. But never did I hear you smell like outside.
Yeah, see, we being nice by saying outside. My folks used to say outdoors.
Outdoors.
Yeah, you smell like outdoors.
Smell like outdoors.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to get in the shower.
You gotta go clean that up.
But so thinking about being cognizant of what you wear when you come into the house of God, but I think that those traditions that we were talking about a minute ago, do you think that, because I think that sometimes that pushes people away. It
does. It's a different mindset nowadays.
Because church attendance is declining.
Right. You know, the way that people see church, the way that people do church, the way that people feel about church, you know, has changed over the years. Now you got your diehard committed people. You got those that
are gonna go to church. They're gonna be there. They're gonna be there on Sunday. They're gonna be there on Wednesday. If it's a church event, they're gonna come. So we have some insight that if you're watching, you might not have, because we are a part of the inner workings of the church.
Yes.
And we kind of deeply connected. Me and Pastor Pete, right?
Exactly.
We're deeply connected.
Exactly.
We're ministers here, but we connected in other ways too.
Exactly.
So we look at these things, and so there is a decline in church. Right. There's a decline in how people give. There's a shift. Maybe let me retract that. It's a decline in giving, but it's also a shift in how
shift in how people give.
In how people give.
Yeah.
And we take these things into consideration.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're like, okay, what's causing this attendance drop, and what's causing people to move away from the church? Because you have so we can categorize church folk. Right. Now we got okay, if I miss somebody, tell me. So we got the person, they call them CMEs.
Christmas.
Mother's Day and Easter. They're going to show up. They're a member of the church, but they don't come that often. Right. They come on big occasions.
This is usually so-and-so's grandson. This person's daughter, that you don't never see until those big holidays,
and then you see them.
They show up.
You see them
because they know that mama, grandmama,
they want you there.
They want to stay in the family.
Yeah.
So you better show up on those big days, those high days.
And Father's Day ain't included. They don't show up.
That time the Father's Day, they on Father's Day.
Yeah.
They watch the game.
Okay, and that's the other church person. It's the family, but the mom and the kids come most of the time. Right. But dad is kind of, I'm chilling at home. Right. All right. And then you have the church person who comes on Sundays and on Sundays.
Sunday, and that's it.
They might come on Wednesday.
I'm going to be here on Sunday.
I'm going to be here on Sunday. They not going to get involved.
That's my day. I'm coming on the 7th. That's it. That's all you get.
Yeah, that's all you get.
That's all you get. Don't ask me to come.
I'm not going to get involved.
I might come back for the church anniversary program.
I might come back. And it's got to be the church anniversary program.
Right.
I'm not coming back for random church program.
Exactly.
I'm coming back for the church anniversary. So you got those, and then you got the ones who are gonna faithfully show up on Sunday. They're gonna faithfully show up on Wednesday, but they're not really gonna be involved, but they're gonna be somewhat involved. And then you got the church folk.
Right.
Then you got the person who gonna show up on Sunday.
If the building open,
they gonna show up for the youth event. They gonna show up for the picnic. They gonna show up. They gonna volunteer.
They gonna go with the pastor to the other church. They gonna do the traveling.
They gonna do the traveling. If somebody's sick, they gonna be there. If somebody have a family member pass away, they're gonna be in a ministry.
Right.
They're gonna be really deeply rooted, right? And I think when somebody new comes into the church, they kind of mesh all of those people together and kind of think that everybody in the church is the ladder.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh man, these people go to church all the time. Look at me. I'm just coming in here and look at what I got on.
Right.
And I think that sometimes that if we don't communicate who we are as a body, I think sometimes that pushes people away.
Yeah.
But even people who have grown up in the church are kind of moving away from the church.
Yeah.
What you think about that?
A lot of them got wore out. A lot of them got worn out, man. You know, when it's one thing to come because you want to be there. Is another thing when you being drugged and you being forced.
That was me.
I had to come. And you know, for even for me, you know, as a young person, you know, that was the case, you know, for a long while, you know, and then finally, you know, I got involved and plugged into a church where I wanted to be there.
Yeah, I think that okay. So, I've told my story on this podcast before, so I ain't gonna go back into that. And if I haven't, forgive me. But I think I did.
Yeah, you did.
So for me, I didn't like going to church at all.
Right.
And I'm not ashamed to say that. I was, you know, I wasn't a minister. I never thought that I would be a minister at all. I didn't like going to church because we went to church all the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to be outside playing with my friends. And I went to church. I would sit there. Church was long. Mm-hmm. We went to church on Sunday morning. We went to church on Sunday night. We went to church on Wednesday. We had Bible band. We had some on Thursdays, I think.
Yes,
we
sir.
had some on Saturdays. And we might have had some on Fridays. Mm-hmm. It was a lot of church. And church, I was like, okay, what, you know, when you are in the position I was in, you're trying to find things that's good in church.
Yeah.
Well, God is, so let me say this. God is good all the time.
Yeah.
And he's in church. But I'm speaking from a perspective of a kid not wanting to go.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, is it going to be some cute girls there? I like the singing. So if it's gonna be some good singing, then I'm good.
Right.
I'm game for that.
Right.
That was about it.
Yeah.
You know. All my friends coming. Yeah, I got some homeboys because can they come?
Right.
Or I got me some church friends.
Right.
You know, cause I always went to church with my little cousin.
Right.
And we kicked it all the time, so I'm always with her.
Right,
that
made it tolerable.
yeah. So, but we couldn't kick it in church.
Right,
we get in trouble, so I can't really talk to her at church. I'm like, I can't. I'm like, Shell, stay over there. I ain't gonna get a whooping, man. You tripping?
Yeah.
But
because you cut up in church and you gonna
cut up in church and you gonna catch it. So I didn't really want to go to church. So when I got older, you know, I didn't go.
Right.
So this is from a person who grew up in church. That when I got older, I was like, I'm just not going back to church.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I had that, you know, as a younger person, you know, where we went, you know, we were kind of forced to go and it was boring and, you know, we tried to be on the back row and be back there going to sleep, talking, cutting up, eating candy, you know, whatever we did, you know, just to make the time go by.
Yeah.
You know, but later on, you know, I got involved in the church that was very strategic about getting young people involved.
And see, that's good because I went to a amazing church, but it wasn't about young people.
Right.
It wasn't everybody in this. So I went to an amazing church growing up, but everybody was pretty much over 50.
Yeah, they were older.
They were older, and then it was a few kids. So I went to a small church. Now my dad's church was much bigger, but I didn't go to church with him a lot. You know, my grandmother's church much bigger, but I didn't go to church with her a lot. Now, the church that we started out. So when I say my grandmother, I mean in my paternal. So my paternal, my dad's mom, their church was pretty big. My dad's church, pretty big.
Right.
Now, my grandmother would go to every church.
Yeah.
That's why I love going to church with her. Now, my mom went to a small, cozy church, maybe 10, 15 people. 15 people is a lot.
Right.
Easter, we got 25.
Yeah.
Easter, we got 25. That's because everybody, family, bring grandkids. Now, we went with my grandmother, maternal, my mama's mama, and I loved it.
Right.
She didn't have no rules. She didn't have no rules at church. First of all, she didn't have no rules because I was the baby.
Right.
So I didn't have any you gonna get a spanking and all that. You can't go to sleep. And if I fell asleep, if somebody said something, my grandmother was the person. Hey, leave my baby alone.
Right.
You sleep.
Right.
You sleep. I'm getting the word. So, but it was every kind of church.
Yeah.
I went to Church of Christ, Church of God in Christ, Baptist, all denominations.
Right.
All races, all colors, all creeds.
Yeah.
My grandmother was when Robert Tilton would come to town, Jimmy Swagger would come, that we would go to the conventions. It would be at Reunion Arena, and we would go.
Right.
So church with her was fun.
Yeah.
Because
you're traveling, you're doing
I'm
something
traveling,
different.
I'm doing something. And most of the churches that I went with her, they had kids and they had stuff going on for us.
Right.
You know, so and if it wasn't that, we were at like I said, going to see Jimmy Swagger, going to see Robert Tilton,
right?
Whoever that was, Jim and Tammy Baker. It's like it's an event. Yeah. I'm at Reunion. They selling stuff. Right. I'm like, wow. I can get a T-shirt maybe.
Right.
It's like
it don't feel like regular.
It don't feel like regular church. But going to regular church, like even with my paternal grandmother, it's like it's kids here, but they not really paying attention to us.
Right.
They're not really
they're not involving them.
They're not involved in children's church.
Yeah,
that wasn't no thing.
Exactly.
So, but you went to a church where it was a thing.
Well, yeah, it was very strategic and it was very focused, man. Even in the very beginning, of that ministry. The focus was really on the young people. Yeah. There were a lot of older people in the church, a lot of middle-aged people in the church, but there were a lot of teenagers and kids at the church, and they really made it a point to focus in on us and push us,
for something.
So we and it wasn't just this is that one Sunday of the year where they have youth Sunday or something like that. No, they were pressing us to get involved all the time.
Was that because of you, though? Because you were a youth pastor.
Well, I became a youth pastor later on once I got my call to ministry. But before then, I was just involved.
You were just involved. So you were not a youth pastor, but you were a youth pastor.
I was not in ministry at the time.
Okay, so about how old are you?
So at this time, I'm probably about 15, 16.
Okay, so you haven't. I'm saying that because Pastor B accepted his call at 17, right? Yeah. Okay, so
at 17, so I'm 15. We in 15, 16. But even then, just being there, they really did focus on us. And it wasn't even all about about church services. They actually did stuff with us, So we would go skating, we would go play basketball, we would we would do all these events as a youth ministry together. So we built friendships
within
that church,
the space.
So the teenagers, all of us kids became friends with each other, and as friends, we wanted to be around each other. We wanted to see each other, so we met up at church, and they cultivated those relationships. They cultivated those friendships, and then, together, we got involved in ministry, and they cultivated, us being, and it wasn't just us ushering on a Sunday or just us, doing stuff like that. Like we literally were involved in ministry. I mean, like worship leading and,
and stuff like that.
And yeah.
Was y'all doing fashion shows?
Oh, no, we didn't really do fashion shows.
What church had me in a fashion show?
We were teaching the Bible.
Teaching. Oh, okay.
We were teaching. We were going out and witnessing. We were at going to nursing homes, or we were going to
So they had y'all really.
We were really ministering at that young age.
See, okay, so we're talking about church attendance now, and I think that this is important, like how you retain youth. And also, like, youth that grow up in church that feel like they're not a part of a church are less likely to come back to a church.
Right.
And then when they start families, church becomes less important because it was just a thing that we did. It was not something that I was a part of.
Yeah.
Because, we went out and witnessed, but I was witnessing with adults.
Right.
And to be honest with you, I was like, man, I don't want none of my friends to see me out here. And now like I don't care. I hope some of my friends see me out here.
Right.
You know, but I think back then it was like, okay, maybe the structure.
Yeah, it was kind of shameful to be seen.
But maybe it was shameful on my part, but I shouldn't have been ashamed. But maybe the structure was so focused on the adult side of it and not the kids. Like we didn't get they didn't ask us, what's your input? What do you think we ought to be doing for the youth? And to me, it just wasn't.
It didn't feel like it was for you.
It didn't feel like it was for me at certain churches. Like if I went with my maternal grandmother, I was like, okay, how do I get involved? But I know I'm not going to be back here next week.
Right.
This is we just visiting. We might come back, but I know I'm not ingrained
here.
You
knew you weren't going to get to stay.
I wasn't going to get to stay. So that was a foreign concept to me. I'm like, okay, they had some fun stuff going on here, but when I come back to reality, this is my reality. This is church. So I think we kind of walking through like the person that's unchurched, the person that was church, and the decline in attendance of church.
Yeah, it makes a difference, man, in how how we structure it. I remember growing up and being a young person in church, and they would have youth day, and then what they make us do? They made us get up there and do what the old folks did. so you got
what was youth day?
You got 9, 10-year-olds, man, that that they would have us come up and we would do like the devotion. And we had to sing them old 100s. So we
let y'all sing stuff.
Hey, you 9, 10 years old, singing "Guide Me, O Thou Great Jehovah," and sounding like somebody that's sounding like
saying the Clark sisters.
You sound like your great uncle, who 90 years old, and we would have to get down and kneel at the chair and pray. And then you got a 9-year-old who praying and tuning up, and
you got a 9-year-old tuning up.
Yeah, you got a 9-year-old
sounding like a deacon,
bruh.
9.
So even though they called it Youth Day, it wasn't made for us.
Yeah,
it was basically us doing what they do. But then there came a point, like I said, at the ministry that I got involved in, where they tailored things for us.
Yeah.
So our input, was sought after. It was they started a whole service.
And so do you believe that is the reason why you're still in ministry in the church now?
That fire that we had back then still carries me through today. The spirit, the lessons that I learned, the amount of growth that we had, that love for Christ, that love for church, that love for the gospel, that love for the Bible, all of those things that that we developed back then when I was a teenager, those things still carry with me to this day, and they're burned in my memory, and in my heart. So it made such an impact on me that I never forgot it. I mean, the reason that I am where I am today, and the reason that I'm able to do, the reason that I can connect with kids today, the reason that that class that you took over for me, the reason that class was as successful as it was because I learned how to relate.
Yeah.
And and you know how it was,
because
we closed that door back there, and everybody know when the door closed, things about to get real.
It's about to get real.
And but those are things that I learned, because I even in my management style to this day, the way that I manage people, and the way that I lead people, I always think, hey, if I were in their position, what would I like to see?
And that's what I'm saying, right? Because I think a lot of the times it's a older person thinking for the younger person and saying, "Hey, this sounds and they don't allow this sounds like a great idea," but they don't allow to give the input.
Right.
And I think that kind of shuts the door,
right.
And then that leads to people saying, well, you know what, maybe this church ain't for me because
right.
It's not anything that's lasting. So when I came back to the church, I was actually coming back to the church, not
right.
a church.
Right.
I was coming back to Christ,
right?
Because I never knew. I knew of him, but I never knew him,
right, until
I got here, and so I accepted Christ in my adulthood. Right. So it was I think it was a different thought process.
Yeah.
Coming in. So I wanted to, so Pastor P said, okay, you're going to be back here, B. And okay, here. Right. So I think Pastor P saw two things, right? He saw the willingness and the humility to follow Christ, right? Because he had to see that. He wouldn't have left me back there. If y'all know Pastor B, he
not at all, bro.
He wouldn't have left me back there. So I said, okay, if I'm going to follow Christ, what do these kids want?
Right.
What do they want? So they want to be, I think the generation, I'm talking about from teenagers up to 35. I think that they enjoy a vibe, but they don't really want a vibe.
Right.
I think they really want truth.
Right.
So, when I'm doing a Bible study for high schoolers, right? I'm saying, all right, where's the book we're reading out of? Is it a New Testament, Old Testament? What covenant is it under?
Right.
Abrahamic, New Covenant. Law of Moses, Torah. I'm like, where is it?
Right.
I'm giving them facts. Put everything in context. Like to say, okay, this is why this is okay. If I'm reading Romans, this man is speaking to the Romans.
Right.
What did Rome play?
What part did they play?
What part did they play?
What was the culture?
What was the culture and all of those things? And I think that in allowing them to ask questions and to put their input.
Right.
Sometimes they may be like, hey, Pastor Brandon, why is this important?
Yeah.
I don't understand. Why are we going over this? I'm asleep. I'm on my phone. I'm doing this. But it's important for you to understand. Like, let's get down to this conversation this person is having via letter, if we're talking about Paul and his letters.
Right.
Why are you writing a letter?
Right.
Because he ain't got no phone like you got.
Yeah.
He can't send no text.
That's it.
He can't call him up and have him put him on speaker.
There was a time where you had to write a letter.
You had to write a letter, right? Why is he saying brothers? Because in the context, in this culture, it may not have been no women there, right? But the men there are going to relay this message, right? Sometimes Paul was in jail. He was in jail. He was in the pen.
He was locked up.
One of the kids said, Paul was in the pen? I said, he was in the pen.
Yeah.
He was in there. But making it relatable so they can have a foundation where they can come back.
Right.
Because I don't really know what is driving the decline in church attendance. And even people seeking Christ. I think there's a lot of information out there.
Yeah.
That kind of guides you one way. I think there's a lot of people saying, well, I'm trying to come as I am, as in attire, and I don't want to be judged. I think there's a lot of people that don't know. I don't even know how to walk through these doors. Yeah. I think there's a lot of people who are like, I'm hopeless, or what are you really offering me? Do you want to take my money? And I think it's up to the church to, plain and simple, like our pastor always says, express Christ's love.
Right.
Whatever that may be.
Yeah, I think
however that may be.
Is that, people are non-committal.
They don't want to commit, Pastor Pete?
Yeah, folks are non-committal, man. And it's not just with the church, man. It's with everything. They don't want, I don't
got to commit. I got Netflix. I can watch all this stuff.
Right. I don't got to sit through the commercial.
I don't got to.
I can skip.
I can
skip. I can fast forward. I don't have to sit through. I don't have to sit through there and deal with all of that. I don't have to wait on the show to come on.
Cause I can
go find. I can let all the episodes play, and then I can binge watch the whole thing at once and be done with it.
Because I can get it right now. I can get it my way.
Right.
And it's easier. And I take those things, and I don't think anyone is at fault because culture has shifted that way.
Yeah, I think somebody's at fault. I think we're at fault.
Oh, you think we're at fault? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I think
because we haven't adapted.
I think that comes from our generation.
Us?
Yeah, us. I think it's our fault. I think it's.
What do we do?
I think it's our fault, man. Because one of the big issues that we had, just like you were saying, how you were raised in the church and how you had to go to church all the time, how you forced to go when you didn't want to go, and you was there all the time, and it was just too much.
Yeah.
And then we come out of that saying, I ain't gonna make my kids do that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And that because we did that, we became resentful, of sometimes of the ways that we were raised, and ways, the reason that everybody get a trophy thing came out. Why? Because the people who couldn't hack it, and they don't got no ribbons and no trophies in their case, and they upset. And what they saying, well, my child ain't gonna have that experience. Well, your child ain't no athlete, just like you wasn't no athlete.
So yeah,
and what they say? No, everybody need to get a trophy. Yeah. And then now what do you have? Nobody's committed. Nobody feels driven because everybody get the trophy.
Yeah, and I think that plays a big part in our commitment to Christ, because we kind of want it our way.
Yeah.
We want to be able to make the rules when the rules are clearly stated in the Bible. You can't. So look, you can't make the rules. You can't do it. You can't make the rules, because if you could make the rules, then you could save yourself.
Right.
And if you could save yourself, there's no need for a redeemer. Right. So I think that
everybody want to hedge their bet. Everybody trying to hedge their bet. They don't want to be committed to Christ because they like, oh well, but what if I'm wrong?
Well,
and that's where that lack of commitment comes in a lot of times. Hey, I'm not gonna commit to this because I'm gonna say this, because you might be right, but they might be right, and this other one might be right.
Yeah.
So what we doing? We dancing in a circle.
But you got to commit, because God wants you to choose Him.
Right. Because hey, you got to. He
gives you a choice. He gives
you have to pick a side and commit to it. We at the point now, man. We can't even commit to a meal.
We can't. I be asking, like, what y'all want to eat?
We can't commit to
it.
That's the worst question to ask in a household today.
I always
what y'all want to eat.
I'm like, I'm going here. I'm going here. This is where I'm going.
That's a fight waiting to happen.
You know what? I tell my son, I feel like, if you say you don't know, I need you to commit. You got to commit.
Right.
I need you to understand commitment. Right. But again, it goes back to so many choices. We got so many choices on our phone. Got so many choices. Like when you're going through Netflix, when you're going through Hulu, it's so much stuff that you can look at. It's like sometimes you're going through hundreds and hundreds of titles. We didn't even have that when we grew up. No. And you can't commit to anything.
Right.
But
you committed to being at home on Thursday night because you knew that Cosby Show was coming on.
You did, because
you committed to being up and having your chores finished on Saturday morning because you knew that He-Man was coming on.
Yeah,
Transformers were coming. You were committed to be getting home from school and getting your stuff together. Why? Because you knew your favorite show was coming on. You committed because you knew, and you were going to be at that same place at that same time every single week
because you didn't want to miss it.
You didn't want to miss it. You were committed to it.
It was no. I can go back and stream it. Right, it was no DVR.
If you missed it.
You missed it, and everybody's gonna be talking about it.
Everybody at school talking about it.
Did you see
Martin? You gotta lie like you actually saw it. You trying to put pieces together from conversations that you heard that you ain't seen, and then you mad because it was a good one and you missed it. But what happened? You weren't committed to it.
I missed the episode of Steinfeld.
Yeah, man.
As Ron Washington would say, I got on my Rangers. Remember Ron Washington?
Yeah.
He used to say Steinfeld. He didn't say Seinfeld.
Right,
he said Steinfeld.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I was watching the episode of Steinfeld.
That's it, man. Yeah. But we as a church, man, we have to reestablish that commitment.
Yeah.
And it's different, man. Some people, we don't expect everybody to be there every week no more. Because at the end of the day, we know it's just not happening.
Everybody ain't gonna come every week because it goes back to the committal thing, right? Yeah. So speaking of like movies and committing to something, so Leap of Faith came across. That's how we're gonna end it today. So, you remember Leap of Faith?
Man, do I remember Leap of Faith?
So I bought it's so much so I bought the soundtrack on CD.
Hey, are you ready for a miracle?
Ready as I can be.
Are you ready for a miracle?
Hey, I didn't know that was Patti LaBelle singing that. Man. I did not know.
Are you ready?
Lyle Lovett had a song on there too with George Benson. Yeah. So if y'all don't know what we're talking about, Leap of Faith came out in the 90s. It was Steve Martin, and he was like a prosperity preacher.
Yeah, he was a traveling evangelist, one of them traveling, healers
and things like that.
Yeah,
so
man.
He would go to town to like non-expecting towns, right? He would show up. They would set up a tent. They gonna have this big revival.
He was a fake.
Yeah, and he had all these. Gimmicks.
Yeah,
he had all these gimmicks to make you believe that he was real.
Right.
So one of the gimmicks was, so they would go out and they would advertise. Mm-hmm. And if you were old when you came in the tent, they would be like, "We want to sit you in the front," and they would
give you a VIP.
Yeah,
they would put you in a wheelchair,
and they would put you in a wheelchair and roll you to the front, knowing that he was gonna call you during the service, and he was gonna be like, "Rise," and the people in the back would be like, "Oh, she got out the wheelchair." Mm-hmm. And Liam Neeson played like the sheriff or something in there,
right?
And he was like, "This dude is a fraud."
Yeah,
and that was his goal to prove that he was to expose him, and they was just making money.
Crazy money.
But then he had an encounter with somebody he had an encounter. I don't want to tell the whole movie. Spoiler alert. He had an encounter with somebody who had some real faith.
Mm-hmm.
Some real faith.
They were really down. They were handicapped.
So they had. So we want you to watch Leap of Faith. It's a good movie. But they had faith,
real faith,
and their faith changed something on the inside of him.
Yeah,
it did. So I just wanted to get to that point of this movie. We could talk about this movie. It was a really good movie. It's a lot of good singing, but your faith can even change the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
Because Steve Martin did not care in this movie.
He was not a believer.
He was not a believer.
He was a total con artist.
This was a con for him. It was a con every time, and he was like, "I don't care."
Yeah.
He don't care. He was like,
he was running women. He was doing all.
He was doing everything, and he was like, "If these people believe in this nonsense, then I'm going to take advantage of them."
Full advantage. Yeah.
But what he didn't expect was what he thought was nonsense to be actual fact.
He didn't expect God to show up.
He did not expect God to show up, and God showed himself through the faith of that one person. Because that, if you watch the movie, this person has faith.
Right.
They don't know that Steve Martin is a fake.
Right. Right.
But they don't care that Steve Martin is a fake because of their faith.
Right.
Whoever wrote this movie had this individual, when you see it, I'm trying not to give it away, have an extraordinary faith.
Right.
That faith would go on to change the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
So with that being said, your faith can change those around you.
Yeah.
Right? So we started with, Pastor P in the suit, church attire, church attendance. We started with these things, right? And understanding that who is on the inside of you will transcend on the outside of you.
Right.
And if you allow that, it can touch somebody else.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you look at all the stories of faith in the Bible, man. Faith not only helps you, but others see in your faith. How many people came to believe because they saw the faith of somebody else. I mean, you take the woman at the well, the Samaritan woman. Jesus told her all about herself. Talk bad to her too.
Yeah.
But she got up and she went to town and told everybody that she met, come see this dude who told me all about myself. Come see a man. He ain't telling nothing good about herself.
Yeah.
He told her all the bad stuff that she was doing. All this bad stuff that she doing.
Man.
Hey, look. And he's like, hey, look, hey, come and come see this guy. Who told me all about myself. And when they came to Jesus, and they talked to him, they said, hey, look, now we don't just believe because of what she said.
Yeah.
But now we done seen it for ourselves. Yeah.
Come see a man. It's I think Apostle Murray out of Holy Temple in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
During our fast, he preached a sermon. And forgive me, Apostle Mary, if I'm wrong, but somebody preached a sermon, I think there, and it was called "Come See a Man."
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's called "Come See a Man," and really, we invite you to join us at 10:30.
Yeah, man.
On Sundays, Antioch, Corinth on YouTube.
Yeah.
7:15 on Wednesdays.
Right.
Antioch, Corinth on YouTube. But we don't want you to come see us.
Right.
We don't want you to come see our wonderful pastor, Dr. Espis. We want you to come see a man.
Yeah.
And that man is called Jesus. That's
Jesus
his name.
Jesus the Christ, man. Jesus the Christ.
Yeah. Jesus the Christ. Christ wasn't his last name.
This week, man, it's Holy Week.
It's Holy Week.
Hey, man, we had Palm Sunday last week, and we running toward Resurrection Sunday, man.
Yeah.
So, this is the time.
This
if you're
the time.
a Christian out there, this is your time.
This is your time. This is our. I don't want to say Super Bowl. But.
It is. It's game time, bro. It's game time. You don't want to say it, but you're gonna say it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's game
time.
So this is it, right? So whenever you're watching this, right, we're in the week of Holy Week. And there's a lot of significant things that happen during this week, but one of the things that happened on Palm Sunday is the people are looking for someone to save them.
Yeah.
And when they're screaming Hosanna, they're looking for a king in the sense of a conqueror.
Yeah.
Because of Rome.
Right.
Rome.
Right.
Rome.
They need somebody to set them free.
Yeah. There's Rome again.
Yeah.
And but Jesus is looking at the big picture.
Right.
He's like, yeah, you're oppressed right now. Come on now. Come on. Thank you, Lord. You're oppressed right now. But I'm here to save you in totality.
Right.
Just not the way you think. So if you're out there right now and you're going through something, know God can snatch you out of whatever you're going through, but also know that he's looking at the big picture.
Right.
So he may allow you to stay in said situation as he works on the whole situation.
Right.
So your test can become your testimony.
Yeah, yes. I mean, a lot of times we want the trial to be over. He never promises that he would snatch us out the trial. But he did say that he would be with us.
He will be with us. He will never leave us nor forsake us. He will be with us.
Yeah, if I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, he said, the scripture say, yea, though I walk through it. You know, he didn't say, yea, though
I stay there.
Yea, though I magically disappear and end up on the outside of it. He said, you have to walk through it.
Yea, though I avoid it.
Yeah, no, I'm going to walk through, the valley of the shadow of death, but he's with me, and I think a lot of times we hear that phrase, the valley of the shadow of death, and we really get fearful because we hear those words together, but if we think about it, it was the shadow of death.
Yeah.
The issue is that it was a shadow.
Yeah.
Shadows only come based on the angle of the sun.
Yeah.
And when we're going through, we seeing all these shadows, but the shadows are only there because of the angle of the sun. We go through the valley. It's a lot of places where thieves and robbers can hide.
Yeah,
a lot of places for them to hide. But if he's with us, he
got you.
He's the protector.
He is.
And it's his job to make sure that we get through it.
Yeah,
we just keep walking,
Just keep Yeah, so that's the thing. When you're in the valley, keep walking.
Keep walking.
Keep walking.
Yeah.
Because if you enter the valley, there's an exit to the valley.
Right.
Don't concern yourself on what's going on in there because your protection is already with you.
Right.
So it's like Universal used to have this tram. They still had this tram tour. If you go to Universal,
yeah.
But they used to have this part where like rocks would fall and water would come down, and it's an illusion,
right?
Because the tram is going through, right, but you're not going to get hit by the stuff that you see,
right?
Because you are actually protected,
right?
It looks like that, but no. There's some protection around you.
Yeah.
So it may look like, oh my God, it's terrible.
It looked like it's over.
It looked like it's over, but it ain't over till it's over.
That's it.
Till God says so. So
that's it.
So
we just keep moving. We keep pushing. We allow God to lead us through. Just like the land was flat before you went into the valley.
Yeah.
It'll be flat when you come out.
Well, amen. And on that note, we're gonna drop the mic. Andrew, we ready? We can end this. Hey, remember, tell a friend to tell a friend. We'll see y'all next time, Lord willing. And as always, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you, Pastor Pete.
You're welcome, man.
Man, with that suit.
Hey.
That suit.
Next time, we're going to put you in one.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Y'all go check out Leap of Faith.